Well, good morning, paper crafters. Thank you for joining me at my YouTube channel, Juanette's Paper Crafts. Today we're going to be making this masculine card using Stampin' Up's Country Club Designer Series paper. I'm a Stampin' Up independent demonstrator here in the United States, so if you would like any of these products, please visit my 24/7 online store. Now, I received this paper pack from Stampin' Up free when I was at their on-stage event this year. And I don't have any golfers in my life, nor do I golf, so I normally would not have purchased this paper. However, once again, Stampin' Up has hit it out of the park because even though I don't golf or have any golfers, I was still able to use this paper in a very unique and fun way for a man's card. Now you can see it is double-sided, and even on that one side there, it has printed images that you would be able to color. Now this card is 5 by 7, and you see those little sleeves there. They do fold in so that they will fit into a standard 5 by 7 envelope. On that little pocket there, you could even put in some folded money for the recipient. This one here is using this paper right here on this side, but the opposite side is Night of Navy with the golf bags, and I didn't really like that or think it would look very good, so I covered both sides of the sleeves with the same designer series paper, and I think it came out quite nicely. Then I fussy cut one of those golf carts out and added it to the inside of the card. These are very quick to make and very fun. So let's get started. So the products that you will need, I use the Timeless Tropical Rest and Relax You Deserve It stamp for my sentiment, the detailed trio punch to round my corners. You will need buttons or brads to decorate the front of your card. And what I did is I had these buttons in garden green, and I had purchased them some time ago, and I hadn't used them. So I was so glad that they were in my stash. A lot of times I will buy embellishments with not any intent to make anything with them right then and there, but when I do need them, in that specific color, I'm so glad I have them. So here are the measurements of the supplies you will need. This second one is 1/4 inch by 2 inch, and this is just for a little decorative piece to the shirt pocket. You will need 2 pieces, or actually really 4 pieces, because I did decorate both sides of the sleeves. The measurements will all be down in the description box also. Now, as I was deciding which color to mat my sentiment on, I wasn't quite sure, so I cut out both the garden green and the crushed curry. Then you'll need 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch designer series paper for the sleeves. You'll need a piece in anywhere from 3 to 4 inches by 1 inch. The 1 inch has to be exact, and that is to cover the other side of your sleeve. Then you'll need a piece of 4 3/4 by 5 3/4 white, whisper white cardstock that will be on the inside of your card, and you'll be able to write your message. Then for the shirt itself, you will need a piece of 4 3/4 by 6 3/4 designer series paper. And be aware if it's a pattern paper of the direction of it. Then for your sentiment, it is in my Stapparatus, so I'm not showing you it right now, but that is the size that you will need there. Then for your card base, you will need a piece of 10 by 7 inch, and I use garden green. And along the 10-inch side, you will score it at 5 inches and fold and burnish it. Then you will take your pattern paper that you're going to use for your shirt, and along the top side, which is 4 3/4, you're going to line it up on your grid paper, and at the top of it, you are going to put a little pencil mark at 1.5 inches. You're going to do that both on the right side and the left side. Again, at 1.5 inches on both sides. Then again, lay your paper down on your grid surface. Well, you won't have to pick yours up, but I did so I could show you it. And what you're going to do is you're going to come down from the top, and you're going to put a little pencil mark at the 1-inch mark. And again, you're going to do that on both sides. 1 inch there, and again, 1 inch on the other side. By the way, my asthma is better, but I do sound still a little froggy. Then what you're going to do is lay your ruler across that 1-inch mark on both sides, and you're going to come in 1 inch and make a little pencil mark. Again, on both sides. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do, and leave a comment. I love to hear your comments, and I love hearing where you're from. So again, at the top, 1.5 inches in on both sides, 1 inch down, and 1 inch in from that 1-inch mark on the side. So then you are going to take your paper snips and snip in on that little mark there. Again, it is 1 inch down and it's 1 inch in, and you're going to do that on both sides. So you have those little flaps on both sides. Then you're going to take your ruler, you're going to line it up at that top pencil mark. Take your bone folder, line it up at an angle at that area where you cut, and then fold it over your ruler, and that is going to make your collar. Then remove your ruler and then burnish that well. Now you can see that Night of Navy reverse side will not look very good, so that's why I've covered it. On the first card that I made, and you can see that at the beginning of the video, the designer series paper on the other side was a nice match, so I did not have to cover that. So those are your collars. So then you're going to take your 1 inch piece, and again, it doesn't matter if it's 3 or 4 inches long. And what I did is I just folded it in half and snipped it, because we're going to be cutting that down after we adhere it. So all you're going to do is glue it to the top collar to cover that blue up. And again, that is in crushed curry. The liquid glue I use is called art glitter glue. Some people have asked me, and then I just put it into a fine tip glue bottle. Then you're just going to take your paper snips and snip off the excess there. Now we're going to work on the sleeves. So these were the 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch pieces, and you will actually need 4 of them. And be aware of the direction of your paper. Now, as you watch me start to get this ready, you are going to think to yourself and maybe even say at the screen, Juanette, no, that left-hand side, it's not correct. But thank goodness at the end, I fix it. So you're going to first take your little strips of crushed curry, and those are 1.5 inch by 1/4 inch, and you're going to decorate or glue them to your sleeves. So this right hand one, it's correct. It's lined up beautifully. The pattern paper is correct. Because you're going to take that top corner and line it up with the other corner. In a minute, I'm going to show you that. But here, you're going to watch how I get a little like, now, is this the way it goes? Now, see, both of those diamonds are going the same way, and that's not correct. So you can see I'm like, now, wait a minute here. How do I do this? But thank goodness at the end, I put it correctly. I'd have been upset with myself if I had glued that down on the wrong side. So as I turn it and put it there, both of those diamonds are facing outward from the shirt. Yay! I saved it. So then I just took my mono sand eraser and erased those pencil marks. So then you can see I am lining up that top corner to the top corner of the shirt. Then I leave, maybe about 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 inch down at the bottom. And I'm just going to do a little pencil line so I know where to apply my glue. And you're going to do that on both sides. Line up that one corner there, up at the top. Leave about 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch, whatever you want, down at the bottom. And then you know where to apply your glue. So I'm only going to put it on that one side of the pencil mark there. And then attach it to my shirt. I hope everybody's new year is starting off to a good start. Mine is. So there's our sleeves. Now this is for the pocket. And what I did is I took my corner round, the detailed trio punch, and I rounded off the bottom of the pocket. And again, that is 1¼ inch by 1 inch. Now you've seen me do this little trick before where you take a Post-it note so you actually have something to hold on to as you're putting it into your punch. When it's very small pieces, it's hard to put them up way against the corner there. So that little Post-it note helps that. Then I needed to take just a little bit of that frayed edge off. Then that is a piece of Designer Series paper, and it is just 1/4 inch by 2 inches. Apply a little bit of liquid glue, leaving a small bit of that crushed curry at the top. Glue it to the front of your pocket, and then turn it over and snip off the excess. So then I took some of our foam adhesive strips and applied it to both sides and the bottom of the pocket. And this raises it up, gives it a little bit of a dimension. And like I said, on the card, I cut out some of those tees, golf tees, and I put them inside of the pocket. But you could also, if you were giving money as a birthday card, you could fold up some bills and put those in that pocket. You could even make the pocket a little bit bigger if you needed to. So now we're going to take our card base. Again, that was 10 inches by 7 inches, and I scored it along the 10-inch side at 5. We're going to fold in our sleeve toward the shirt pocket on both sides. And you're going to take a pencil and you're going to come up about 1/8 inch. If you want to, you could use a ruler, but I felt it was fine just to kind of eyeball it, because you want the same amount of border at the bottom and both sides and up toward that collar. So just line your shirt up, come in about 1/8 inch. Then take your paper snips and you're going to cut through both sides of your cardstock. So fold it in half, then cut across the cardstock, and then from the top, angled in. And you're going to do that on both sides. Then I brought in my paper trimmer to just trim off that back section because we don't need it. So I just line it up in my paper trimmer right at that score line or that pencil line and just trim that off. And then you can see as I turn it over, you're thinking what I'm thinking. Heavens, Juanette, you need to change that blade. There's a lot of fraying going on there. So I just trim it off. Then you're going to take your white piece for the inside of your card and apply it to the inside. Now that is 3-in-1 glue. I love this glue. It is a solvent. It is not water-based, so it really makes your card nice and sturdy. So this is where I fix the other side of the sleeves. So again, I cut out again another 1.5 by 1.5 inches designer series paper, and then 1.5 inch by 1/4 inch of the crushed curry. And all you're going to do is what you had done before, is just glue it to the front of that sleeve using your liquid glue. And then when it sets for a minute or so, you're going to just trim off the edge. I love this argyle paper. It's very pretty. And again, like I said, Stampin' Up, they are amazing with their papers. I try to remember to buy all of the paper available because at some point I will use it. And I love that it's double-sided. So just take your scissors and trim off that excess there. And you have a beautiful sleeve on both sides. So take your liquid glue, apply it to the back of your shirt, making sure not to put any on those sleeves. Line it up on your front of your card base, making sure there's a nice border all around. And like I said, I hope you try this card. This is a fantastic card and very easy to make, very quick, and is a nice card to give to any man for Father's Day, for a birthday. So now I'm going to show you how I use clear embossing powder with my colored ink so that you don't have to buy other colors of embossing powder. So let me explain. So I took my garden green stamp pad, stamped the rest and relax, you deserve it, on my piece of little white cardstock there, and the measurement I had told you before. I don't have it with me right now to tell you again. And treat it with your embossing buddy, then apply your Versamark ink. And again, it is stamped in garden green. Then you're going to stamp over it with your Versamark ink. Now this is why you need a stamparatus, because you would never be able to line this up correctly if you just used a block. Then apply your clear embossing powder over it, shake it off, and set it with a heat tool. And there you have garden green embossed sentiment. So you can do that with any of your Stampin' Up colors. You basically only need clear, white, black embossing powders. So then I took my heat gun, not heat gun, glue gun, silly girl, and I applied a little bit of glue to the back of those buttons and lined them up on the shirt. Just a little decorative piece. Then took the backing off of the double-sided foam adhesive, put my shirt pocket down. And as you can see, I ended up using the garden green background there. The crushed curry didn't look quite as nice. I'll save that crushed curry for another project. And then I just applied it to the bottom there and then added that small piece that I fussy cut from the designer series paper. It's a golf cart, just to decorate the inside of the card a little bit. So again, thank you so much for joining me here at Juanette's Paper Crafts. Again, if you would like any of these products, visit my online store. Please subscribe to my channel. I hope you enjoy it. Leave any comments that you might have and let me know where you're from. I would be interested to know. And enjoy making this project and have a wonderful day. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.